Don't miss how to paint gold on your Aztec bases.
Spiking bits.
What's up, hobby maniacs? I'm Baer, back again with another Tuesday tutorial here on Spiky Bits. Today we're going to show you how to paint some gold on that custom Aztec base that we worked up a few weeks ago using the great terrain bits and such from Games Workshop and a little bit of Vallejo pumice. Here you can see the shiny metals glowing in the light. Now, of course, doesn't look like this yet, but we're going to show you how to get it there in this tutorial. And you can use this gold tutorial, of course, for any of the golden bits on your models out there. Of course, this Carnosaur has a lot of them all around his throne and such. And this was a blast to paint. We did this as our kickoff for kind of, solidarity with our video game brothers over on Twitch that were playing the new Total War Warhammer 2. We were kind of doing it analog style here. Of course, the Lizardmen or the Seraphon were one of the featured factions in that game. So I had a blast painting up this crazy blue sharp tooth dinosaur thing right here. And we've got one more tutorial still in the chute on how to paint bone, more specifically skulls. Quick and easy too. So look for that one to drop here in the near future. But everything else on here, you should be able to do by this point by watching our Twitch videos. And it's pretty much all the same stuff we've covered in the past. The green up here is we showed you how to do this with our how to paint dragon skin tutorial that we used on the Lord Celestin and Dragon Cat. This blue right here, of course, is over on Twitch right now. You can find there's a couple of VODs of that one right up there, and we showed you how to paint all that. And then all the twine and everything is just stuff from our Ogre videos. I think it's Xandri Dust with an Agrax Earthshade wash. So that should bring you up to speed on this project. And of course, be sure to check out the next tutorial in this series on how to paint bone and skulls fast and easy as well. And here's the base. You may recognize it from the previous tutorial on making a custom base. We left a little spot right there. Let me flip it around for our Carnosaurus to go on. So today we're kind of going to be inspired to do kind of a jungly base with some Aztec golds and of course a little bit of kind of volcano-ish ash that'll be highlighted with some tufts. So it'll be kind of like a whole bunch of different colors to really contrast against the blue of our Carnosaurus, which you can see right here. So this is really blue, so we need to contrast the bottom. So that's what we're going for here. Now this scheme will work great for a lot of different things. So our first color is going to be a gray, Mechanicus standard gray, and we're going to hit the whole thing with it, just with our airbrush, just because it's a lot easier. Now I could have used like a uniform gray or something like that, but we're just going to get in here and hose this all down with our airbrush. And a few minutes later, your base coat is done. There's a beautiful Mechanicus standard gray coat. Now next up, we're going to get in here with our golds. And for that, we're going to start out with a base of True Copper by Army Painter. This is those really bright golds we use here from time to time. And to assist us, instead of going in here with a brush and nugging all that out by hand, which you definitely could, and you could paint all this by hand, we're going to actually use our airbrush and turn down the pressure a bit and get in here, and as tightly as we can, we're going to just block out the golds very carefully. Now we're using, the reason that this, well, we got a little watery right there. The reason this is probably going to be possible is because we're using a 0.2 needle on this new evolution. So I'm going to finish this blocking this out, and then we're going to get to the next step, and it's going to start making sense why this was smart to do it this way. So that was pretty easy, and then I went and I cut back with a little Adeptus Mechanicus gray around the edges, just kind of lazily dragging the edge of the brush. You can see here, it's okay to get dirt over metal, but metal isn't supposed to be over dirt.
So we just tighten that up. Oh, that's a flake. We just tighten that up real quick. Now we're going to detail out the gold because the rest of it requires a little dry brush. So I mixed up a little 50-50 mix of bright gold, which is super towards the top, and that true copper, just to give it a stick. Actually, it's more of like 25% copper, probably like 75% of that gold, and that copper is just in there just to give it a stick as we go through and we hit the higher points. You can see here the light is going over the dark, nice and easy. So we're just going to go through and block out all the areas that need to be highlighted here, and then come back with the next highlight color. There you can see all of that great gold coming through, and I left a lot of the copper in the recesses there. So the next step is going to be take that same mix and add a little plate, or no, this is shining silver. Whew, almost messed up there. We're going to add a little shining silver to the mix and go through and highlight just the edges in preparation for, yeah, it's looking good, for the final glaze, which will really kind of deepen all of this. And you see we're going mostly perpendicular to the edges here. Now I took care to leave a little bit of the dirt that was on the gold showing. Now you see some grains and stuff over here that I'll go back and I'll hit with a little bit of this that's Mechanicus gray before we dry brush up the actual dirt itself. So I'm going to go through, block all this out, and we'll come back for the next step. Knock that all out of the park, and you can see all the great highlights. Went back in and filled in a little bit of that gray where I noticed there was texture. And now it's time to get our wash on. So first up, we're going to grab a little of the Riesling Flesh Shade Gloss and mix in just a drop or two of Dirty Violet to give us a nice warm glaze to go over this gold to really bring it out. Now I'm holding it in a light there so you can see it and get a good idea of what it's looking like. But then with this glaze going right over top, you can see it really just deepens and enriches it, and it's going to get in all the cracks, so all of the nice bright highlights on the top are going to shine through just fine, and it's really going to pop that off right there. And while that's drying too, we're going to do at the same time just a wash of Nuln Oil all over the gray so we can start working that up to nice kind of bright volcano-y kind of highlights on the top of all that. Now we got all our washes applied here. You can see nice dark rich texture over all of this gold here, and we got the black all in over the gray. So now it's time for a little dry brush work. We're going to grab our Celestra gray and put a little bit on here. If you're not familiar with dry brushing, I think we might do a little dry brush technique hack video here soon, but suffice to say, all it is just getting a little paint on your big poofy brush and then running across a paper towel to get most of the paint off. So you will soon see that there is not that much paint on here. Little dry brush refresher course here. And after all that's ready, then we're just going to come in and lightly dry brush the texture. This takes literally no time to do. Just want to make sure we stay off the gold as much as possible, but only get the tread that's around the gold, just like that. And there you can see some great definition with the Celestra gray, and we're going to bring it up just a little bit more on the peaks with some of our favorite Ulthane gray right there. I've already got the dry brush loaded, ready to go here. We're just going to go over some of these areas that are a little bit lighter, and it'll take about 2 seconds. We can get up on some of these areas around here. Now this we're going to block in. I purposely left that spot empty because that's where the Carnosaur foot's going to go, and we're going to do that live on Twitch. And it's got a little bit of a raised area to it, so I'm not too worried about it. And then we'll put some pumice around it and kind of build it up and show the folks over there live what we did here on this tutorial. Generally, I probably wouldn't do something like that, but being able to paint this separate and put these tufts on without having that big monster Tyrannosaurus right over top of it, I think was the way to go. So now we're pretty much done. I just want to lip it and put some tufts on it real quick and come on back and kind of follow through. And now it's tufts time. So we've grabbed some of our Army Painter, what is it, swamp tufts, as you can see there. They're pretty affordable, $6 retail right there. Come on the sheet. I guess you get, I don't know, 70 of them or so. And we're just gonna literally just dunk these in glue. I got a little bit of glue off here to the side and a little bottle cap. Don't want to get too much on here. This is just standard Elmer's glue, super easy. Love this stuff. And we're just gonna sploosh it down right there, just to give you an idea how it's gonna look. And this is gonna kind of bring that jungle feel through and give us all sorts of crazy contrast now. And I'm gonna be a little liberal, I'll be honest. That's probably too much. I'm gonna be a little liberal with these because I want to have a lot of vegetation on this base here to kind of break it up and give it that Aztec-y feel. Alternatively, you could use some of those new GW jungle plants and the vines and stuff if that was your prerogative, for sure. So I'm gonna go through and block all these in, and then we'll come back and put a final lip around this base. Alright, so we got a bunch on here, and it's going to take a little minute to dry, but we got fans for that sort of thing, so no big deal. And next up, we're going to lip the base with this Steel Legion drab and come back and take a look at our handiwork. Hey, look at that. It's like it was easy. It didn't look like much starting out, but there it is. We got our little jungle base, or Aztec-y base with a little volcano soot, ready for Mr. Carnosaur. Now, I'm sure you saw the picture at the beginning of this tutorial. This is looking really fresh. Got a little bit of drying to do, and then we got to attach the Carnosaurus, but either way, I think it's a great looking base. We got a winner on our hands here. So thanks for hanging in there with me on this tutorial. Quick and easy, make your own Aztec base. Check out the other video in the series of how to actually make the base itself from some of GW Scenic basing and some pumice on the Vallejo front right there. So that's about it for this one. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on this video, and head on over to thelongwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.